because I don't have children, I actually think that I'm a reminder of what their kids see. They want what's best for you. I wish that my mom had someone like me when I was little.
I want you to tell me about your journey getting into this specific niche of helping moms getting to
Yeah.
feeling good about themselves. Let's say about that, right? And
Yeah.
be good where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started actually as a strength and conditioning coach for a university here in the US. And it was great getting to help athletes, get and stay in tip-top shape and perform a tiny bit better. But I actually found selfishly that it was more fulfilling to help women. And for some reason, moms just kind of gravitate toward me. I don't know if it's my style, the tips that I share that are really easily implementable into just little pockets of time that I think moms tend to find themselves with versus these huge chunks of time to make it to the gym or, have a dedicated workout period in their day. So I think that kind of draws them to me. And then because I don't have children, I actually think that I'm a reminder of what their kids see, because the reason I began my business was I wish that my mom had someone like me when I was little, showing her it can be different. There are other ways to go about this. It's okay to prioritize yourself so that you can be healthy and do that. So I'm a reminder for my clients of, hey, your kids are watching and they want what's best for you. I know that moms, are very self-sacrificing and put everyone and everything before themselves, but your loved ones actually really want to see you take good care of yourself as a mom. And so I think I can help my clients. I serve as that reminder for my clients.
A great inspirational way to find your way through this, what you're doing right now. And what is the programs that you offer? How do they work with you?
Yeah, so I have a few different ways to work with me. I have my membership is called Fit by Bit, and it's open all year round. So it's whenever women are ready, I am here and ready to get started with them. And then I also do some small group coaching programs throughout the year. So every year in the spring, I do a program. It's a 3-month program called Fitter Faster, and it runs from March through May. And it's to kind of jumpstart summer and really rethink the way that we think about our bikini bodies or, getting ready for beach season or pool season. And then I also do what I call Fit Sprints, and they are 6-week programs, so shorter. Sometimes people think like, 3 months, that's a long time. But so a 6-week program, and I have one that is focused on strength. I have one that's focused on cardio and one that is focused on stretching and mobility, flexibility, that kind of stuff. So I offer those periodically throughout the year as well.
What I find really inspiring that you share on your page, how little things that you do on a daily basis, they count as exercise as well. So yesterday I was doing some gardening, and I had this little tree that I had to trim, and I had to get the big scissors, and my arm was all the time like this. And after that, my arm was oh, I don't need to do any arm work today. And I remember on McKinsey, Coach Mack says everything counts.
Yeah, I saw actually on your story that you were training your hibiscus. I was like, yeah, go girl, because it looks like a lot of work. But
it is, because they're kind of hard to cut. You gotta do some strength work there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we used to have more active lifestyles. Just our everyday required us to do more physical things, whether it was walking, into town. Now we drive into town. Maybe it was, the different chores that we do. Well, now we have technology to help us make those chores easier, which is fantastic. But then it means that we essentially took all this movement and all this activity out of our days. And so now we need to find ways to add it back in for the benefit of our health. And that's our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, all of that. And so it's these, again, little ways that you can add things back in, whether it's gardening or some house chores, or, we were talking about doing laundry, going up and down the stairs and all this, and just little stuff like that, that when you add it back into your day, Yeah, it's not a traditional, sweaty and you don't feel like you did a workout, but you still were moving your body, and give yourself some credit for it because it counts. And if you lead more active days on a more consistent basis, you're going to start feeling the difference and you're going to start getting results that you want.
Yeah, and when you do this stuff, and then you can, like going back to the mom thing, how you inspire your kids to like little things that you do, you keep moving your body. So my son in the morning, he likes to wake up early and kind of watch something to keeps him up. So I make him coffee, but then he's done with the coffee, he leaves on the table. I'm just passing by, but I said, get your coffee and put it in the sink. I want him to get, it's like, I can just pass by and grab the cup of coffee, but I want him to do that so he can move his body. And even when we go out to places, I rather walk further and look for a shade from my car than park closer.
Yes.
Have the park on the sun and then just walk a little bit. And I tell them, oh, and then we can walk a little bit. At least when we come back to the car is cooler. So everything like is about the way you talk. Don't feel like exercise, but also you doing that.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. The way that we frame it in our heads can make all the difference. So yeah, if you're thinking like, ugh, I have to walk a little bit further because there was no open parking spot, or versus, hey, look, I'm parked in the shade, and that means when I get back, it's gonna be nice and cool. Like the two very different ways of thinking about it can really impact your mood and your experience with that thing. And I think we can do the same thing with exercise or activity or movement. I use all of them interchangeably because I don't think when we think exercise, we have this vision of what it's supposed to look like. So I use those words interchangeably to emphasize that it doesn't have to be a traditional workout. I just had a woman post in my group yesterday that it was like 3:30 and she did a workout in her jammies. And I was like, it counts, you don't have to have the cutest Nike clothes on, as much as I love Nike, but it can look however it works for you that day.
It's very good when you have somebody that gives you a base for the way your body moves when you do something. So I would say like 15 years ago, I started doing yoga, and I really had I'm so grateful for the teachers that I had, because now when I have to do by myself, I know certain things I have to do. And even though when I go around my house doing stuff, the squats, when going down to pick up something, not just going on your back and strengthening your back, little things that you can do. And even with the garden, just squatting down, little things, and you feel I feel in my body today, yesterday I did a workout and I just did the gardening. And that's really thing that the mind frame switch that we can do, how we can incorporate on every day, everything that we do while I'm doing dishes, kind of just squeeze my butt. So
yes.
It sounds funny, silly, but it is true. Everything, you just can make it count, add it up. Just add it up to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, actually. So that's a similar thing to what I help my clients figure out. Is I call it habit stacking. Well, I call it, I'm not sure who made up the concept, but I use habit stacks a lot in my coaching because it's a really easy way to begin incorporating those smaller, healthy habits of getting moving. It doesn't even have to be getting moving. It could be taking your vitamins or washing your face or whatever. But so I get one of my clients, she was messaging me about how she was brushing her teeth, and she was, doing her lunges while she was brushing her teeth. And then while, in the mirror, she was flexing and was like, I got, look at all my muscles and all this. But it just stems from looking for opportunities to add in those healthy habits throughout your day. And then it makes it not so much of a chore because it's spread out. So yeah, it really does. It sounds goofy when you think about doing squats while you're, brushing your teeth or squeezing your butt, doing the dishes, whatever it is. But it really does add up, and we don't give it enough credit, or give ourselves enough credit for doing it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So that's when you have somebody that can guide you through that. And I see you do that a lot. It's so inspiring. And
thank you.
I wanted to tell me a little bit, just switching a little from mom as a daughter. You already gave an introduction, how you wanted your mom to have somebody like you. But I wanted to tell me as a woman, what gave you this introduction to the fitness part? Have you struggled? And you have such a fun way of doing things because your account is running with bacon. I'm a bacon lover, so yay, she's my girl. And
Yeah.
then and you show like how you incorporate on your meal with eggs, veggie, bacon, and everything else. So have you had that like struggle to kind of have to choose between eating what you like or eating healthy and exercise, all this, you know what I'm going through.
Yeah. So I actually have a video on my YouTube channel about how I've lost 25 pounds, but the kicker is it's been over 8 years. So it's been a very sustainable downward trend in learning how to better take care of myself, how I actually prefer to eat. So what my body feels good when I eat, but then also the foods that I like to eat. It's a process, and nobody wants to hear, yeah, I'll help you lose 25 pounds, but it's going to take 8 years. That seems like forever. And could I have done it more drastically and, with more intention and done it quicker? For sure. But would it have been as sustainable and as enjoyable? No, to all of those things. So I'm at the point now where I don't have to choose between, eating a piece of cheesecake and fitting into a certain size jean or anything like that. So I actually plan out my days. I plan out my food for the days to make it easier. And somebody listening might be like, that sounds so tedious. I don't want to have to do all that. But it really frees up your brain to not stress about it, not have to think about it. And when I say I plan it out, it takes me less than a minute now when I'm drinking my morning coffee and I just go in and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to have for lunch and this is what I'm going to have for dinner. Cool, done. I don't have to think about it anymore. So, and if I want to eat a piece of cheesecake that day, I put it in there and it's just part of my plan. So I don't feel restricted. I don't feel like I'm depriving myself. I don't feel like I'm having to choose between delicious food and healthy food. So there's a lot in the cliche of, it's all about moderation. It's true, but it's figuring out how that moderation looks for you and eating the foods you still want to eat, but also doing it in a way that feels best for your body.
Yeah, and think of the healthy way. Of course, if you are somebody that type of food doesn't agree with your body, then you need to find ways to get something else that would kind of like satisfy that need for that type of food. So it's really learning because everybody's different.
Yep.
Like I cannot eat the same thing that somebody else can eat, and really understand how your body works.
Yeah, and it's funny because with food, sometimes we don't even know how the food that we're eating is making us feel until we stop eating it. And sometimes that can be for a couple days. Sometimes it may need to be for a couple weeks. But, with there being so many sensitivities like dairy sensitivities or gluten sensitivities, things like that, you may not even know, you may not realize how bad you feel until you feel really good after not eating that. So it is a little bit of a commitment to figure out what food makes you feel best, but it is so worth it when you can just feel really good eating the food that you want to eat.
That's great. That's great. Anything else you'd like to add about the moms in your program?
Oh man, I just wish. So if I had one thing that I would love to say to all the mamas out there is give yourself some more credit. I mean, you're doing a good job. It's, it's maybe a woman thing, but especially a mom thing to just feel like you're not doing enough or you're not doing it well enough or you're doing good over here, but this side, this part of your life is lacking or what have you. Throw all that out the window and just give yourself some dang credit already because you're doing it. You're raising humans. You're taking care of yourself. You're doing a good job.
Oh, that's so great, Mac. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having this conversation with me today.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me on.
And I'll be sharing all your social media, everything, after how people can find you. And it's amazing. They need to follow you. It's such a good energy. It's very needed.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. What a wonderful conversation. Mac is really mom's number one cheerleader. I'm so happy for having had this conversation with her. So you can find Mackenzie, Coach Mack, on Running with Bacon. On Instagram, it's running.with.bacon. And her website is runningwithbacon.com. And there you can connect on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all her accounts. And check out the video notes. You can find all the information in the video notes as well.